Hi y'all, this is Daisy Cakes, and I've had to record this video like 3 or 4 times. But you're going to have to understand that the fire alarm goes off regularly. And since it's gone off regularly while I'm recording the video, it beeps pretty much throughout the video. But just this little chirp. So,
which is weird.
Hold on one second.
I moved my security.
Hold on one second. But remember, I'm not crazy. This is all really happening. Hi y'all, this is Daisy Cakes. I'm going to play you a video I just recorded.
Very weird.
Hold on.
Play your video I recorded earlier.
You see him screenshotting everything.
Hi y'all, this is Daisy Cakes. I just wanted to show you. I'm busy this Wednesday. I just wanted to show you here.
See?
When I go to add a thumbnail to my
Let me pause this and kick him off. Okay, so before I go back to playing this for you, just see that I've already had to sign him out again.
So I did realize some things. The guy.
He does this so that kids won't watch my videos, but I want kids over 12 to be able to watch my videos, so they don't grow up to be stalkers themselves.
He wants to sell you pain pills on my thing. So that's why the goth looks like Got H. And that's why the 8s are for oxycodone. So, y'all, please don't do business with him. Even if you're trying to figure out what's going on, alright? Thank you. This is a tablet. So, sorry, I don't know what that is here. I didn't put down pen. Here, this one. I do like to lazy vegan though. It just tall and fast. Which I'm bad at. So many today. And he's not in one of the rings that I have. He's not really tall. He wears my heels. Heels that he duplicated from my Amazon orders to look like. He may be going for some kind of malpractice insurance for medical disability or insurance disability as a doctor.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause it there.
It's very.
But just remember, most of the videos of me are deep fakes. Okay, most of the pictures of me are deep fakes. Most of the screenshots are deep fakes. It's really sad. Anyway, let's see. But I never intended to interrupt anyone's pain pill distribution or drug distribution or anything. I was just trying to work. And these people just went after me, which is illegal retaliation. And they're still doing it today.
And there may be a big billboard with his picture on it right by Dollar General, actually. It's very interesting. Anyways.
Not quite the same person. It just depends on how you look at it. Similar.
And he may be responsible for some of my coding. On Android. Okay, this is not a phone. This is a tablet.
That's obviously malware meant to keep adults from letting kids watch. So we'll fast forward that little part a little bit here.
This thing is being crazy. So he's trying to keep
because I said kids over 12 could watch my videos on my channel, and he doesn't want that to happen, so he's trying to make it so that the parents would turn off the video. There was That's Norby. That's Norbert. Sweet Norbert. You're going to love this video, Norbert. Well, he's okay. Are you all right?
If you see any duplicates, let me know. Or any of the ones that have date-only titles, that's kind of one of the reasons that I stopped doing up to but it's still going on as far as Walmart goes. Walmart deliveries, which is sad. He's telling John, so I say, edit. This is supposed to be the window thumbnail. So see the 8, that's probably oxycodone. You can tell that he's changed it. Because you can tell, see, I don't have access to my photos out from here. Am I supposed to have access to that? So if I see images,
Is that supposed to be overtime?
it just shows shots, but not camera. So this is the number of that guy's device. And I don't know what that means.
So it could be a storage device permanently
It
attached.
isn't my device. But it's kind of it's not the name of my tablet. Like if you look here, it's really frustrating. I remember more than one thing can happen to you. And I know that that other one's not my tablet because it keeps signing me out, and I'm not signing myself out of anything at all when I do that. I'm not signing myself out of Chrome, I'm not signing myself out of an app, I'm not signing myself out of a device. Nothing changes my two-time password for me, just for my other person.
But I wonder if it's like an intermediate drive. So if it's attached to my YouTube or something, and it's just a drive on my device. And don't forget, all this started with a doctor from New Braunfels.
So let me log out of my. Let me change my password real quick. Hold on.
Who's been obsessed with my ex-husband ever since 1986 or so. Or even 85. They may have met on a trip to Disneyland. Disney World, I mean.
But I bet you that's what it is, y'all. Look, see?
He is that kind of guy. Sort of.
What is going on with his apps, guys? He was on it yesterday. But it didn't ever show him on it yesterday. Isn't that crazy? Just because I went to sleep. What do you think is wrong with this guy? I cannot catch him syncing my account and get him on me there at the same time. I'm gonna block him. Okay, so I just changed my password. Let's see. But isn't that crazy? So does that mean I cannot get him on? That's why he did it. He tries to add in extra videos. Changes all the thumbnails and pretends like he's the reason.
And he wants you to think he's undercover, but he's not. He's an ass. And undercover officers get fired too. Right now he's harassing someone, and that's not okay.
Clearly. And all that stuff. He's mentally ill. He wants to get medical malpractice, disability, probably.
Or
and he's a doctor.
police
and all
disability.
of his patients could call into question his practice just because of this.
And he hurt me.
If he's a doctor. He's certainly related to a doctor. He's the twin of a doctor. For sure. Which is a nightmare.
And he hurt Norbert.
And there he is. So now, if I go here. Sorry, I had some adult words to say. See, and now that's gone. Because he was trying to keep, he probably likes that, and he was trying to keep kids from watching.
Although we don't know that, we don't want to get accused of sexual harassment.
I go here, which I don't. This is why I cannot repay the debt tonight. I don't watch unsafe videos for children for this reason, because they show up on my history all the time. I did not watch this Jacob William Faber video, though. I'm sure he's a fine person. Watch this. Subscribees, which I'll explain in a second on the video. I go here. Isn't that weird? I hope you'll tell me if any of this looks different. There, see? Now it doesn't say the number anymore. It doesn't say the number anymore. There it is. So he was logged onto my thing, but somehow he's named the same thing as something on my device, so I don't want to have named this. Now, here's the thing. He's trying to contact my subscribees. And maybe he got drummed out of medical practice and he's just sort of rocketing around doing things on the side. I don't know.
I don't know.
But he's trying to contact them on Reddit as me. He's trying to pretend to be me.
And you see him screenshotting all of
And he
this.
probably was wandering around my apartment when I was being forced to live.
I say it in kind of a garbled way, and I'm not trying to sexually harass him myself. I don't know why he's putting sexually explicit stuff on my thing. I think he's obsessed. These people are obsessed with butts and things like that. It's crazy, y'all. All their accusations center around butts and like random gross things and stuff like that. And it just shows the way that they think about people, because they just come back to that every single time. I don't. That's not me. And it's so funny. So I just wanted to say, I say it in kind of a garbled way, but my aide put malware on my computer through her husband, and that made my Craigslist only show certain results. And so the only result that was in my price range was living with her brother, who I did not realize was her brother and did not reveal that to me at the time. And I lived there for 3 months and I moved out, or 2 months, just under 2 months, I think. And I moved out because I could not, because I had worked with his with their sister, and I went to her and I showed her his picture, the address, and his name. And I said, "Do you know this guy?" And she said, "No, I don't." But it turned out to be a relative of hers. Because I used to work with her also. Because I worked everywhere in the district. I worked with a lot of people. Okay. Anyway, back to this. And I'm not disgruntled at this moment. So, hold on one second. But they are, for some reason.
Aide's brother, unbeknownst to me, he is probably running around in my stuff then too.
And I didn't want to have a relationship with him. And I woke up one day with him in the middle of the night with him holding me and his brother going through my things. A guy he identified as his brother who used to follow me to AA meetings. So it's all very sketchy and directly related to my former aide.
It's very upsetting. He could be one of my stalkers or one of my followers. around my apartment when I was
Here. I mean, this guy has me freaked out. This is scary. I'm not supposed to be the one that investigates this stuff. I've already reported it. So I shouldn't have to also investigate it. But in case something happens to me, I want to make sure that my responsibility to my relatives and my family members is assured that I have provided them with the information that they need to protect themselves. And because any employee of the district could be going through this, lots of people have done business with these people. And I'm not going after my aide necessarily. She is a fairly nice woman, fairly competent. She has been promoted. She seems pretty successful. She seems fine. But with me, she was crazy. Okay? So I'm not saying, I seem to bring out weird things in some people.
But he's trying to contact them on Reddit as me. He's trying to pretend
See the
to be,
screenshots?
and he probably was wandering around my apartment when I was being forced to live next with my aide's brother, unbeknownst to me. He was probably running around in my stuff then too. It's very upsetting.
It was a room in her house. It was a room in the brother's house. There was 3 bedrooms. The guy, the brother that followed me to the AA meetings and stalked me, and me. And I only lived there for like a few weeks.
He could be one of my stalkers or one of my followers. I don't think he is, but I mean he could be. But the point is, let me explain it to you better in this video. Because he knew I was going to the bank, and he came right back when he realized I wasn't.
Going to the bank yesterday.
And if he kills me, eventually, or my children, or their children, then you should remember that he did it tracking me, and that it's a capital crime. Because to me, this is a really big deal. I know, this is the kids. I just wanted to know I did that either, you know? And that she's kind of beholden to him, too. And then there's C, who's also tracking me and stalking me and interfering with my business and my life and oppressing me and relegating me to a human drudge or slave. And that is also not okay. So let's not excuse him just because he moved, because something seriously is wrong with these 2 families where almost every member of the family has been involved in stalking me for some reason. Very strange. Because they think I'm responsible for their professional difficulties, but I am not in any way, shape, or form. I was just nearby when those difficulties happened. They face swapped me on her body. It's really strange.
I'm trying to identify whether this video is a duplicate of another video, which was the whole point of the video in the first place.
That's that weird video that I had that was so long that he edited down because it showed Regina. He cannot stand to have anything bad ever said about him.
The whole point of this video is to show you that the stalker's duplicating videos. So he thinks I only look at the total number of videos. So if I had 203 videos yesterday or 214, then I have 203 today and 214, and I'm happy. But I have a photographic memory. So when I go through and look at the pictures of the videos and the titles of the videos, it bugs me. And I kept telling you, I think he's deleted videos, because I would notice that the videos were different. I wasn't paying attention to the number of videos. But what he's done is because the other day I woke up and I had like 215 videos. And I woke up the next day and I had like 218 videos. And then 220 videos. 221. He always makes it an odd number. And I was like, well, that's odd. But I just didn't have time to go back and check each video. So he's been duplicating videos, y'all. And that was the whole point of this. I don't see any on this screenshot, especially. It's so funny. But he does. He does. So let's see. So keep looking at the titles as I'm scrolling, and you'll see that there's more than one video called the same thing. And that is because he's been doing that kind of thing. And here is the one I was looking for. Thieves Tall and Fast.
This is true. She was one of the big harassers and she was in there all the time.
But remember, I'm trying to figure out who the money person is. Because we know that there was a pain pill guy from New Braunfels who seems fairly nice, really, who sent a guy up here to sort of harass me intentionally, you know, like that Danger, Danger, Will Robinson robot sort of thing. And he wasn't trying to hide who he was at all. At all. And I think he was trying to sort of tell me something because he's operated on a lot of my family members, a lot of the teachers from the district, a lot of people in general. But he doesn't seem like a terrible, terrible person. So, even on my ex-husband, possibly, well, not my kids, but I think he consulted with my kids. So, but this guy is different. Not as well thought of, a little sketchier. I don't know really for sure. I know they have a plastic surgeon in their family that I think very highly of. His work is good. But this isn't him. This is another guy. Possibly more related to my neighbor. And very scary to me. So I'm trying to figure out what that's about.
Yeah, she used to dress like me.
Yeah.
If I changed my hair, she would change her hair. She was kind of pretending to be me for something.
But her I kind of liked because she sort of enjoys, looking good like I enjoy looking good. And it's kind of nice to be around women like that. I enjoy being around women like that. I sort of set it aside when I'm focusing on something. But some women keep it up all of the time. And I'm really, think that's great. I like to be around those kinds of women because they make me better. And she kind of was like that for a while. So, when I would pass her, I would always say hi to her and stuff like that. We had a cordial relationship. But she always sort of was aggressing on me, on my space, on my person, she would shadow me. She'd heel when I'd walk. She would heel like to my right and always be in my eyesight. And I'm not sure what that was about. But I never really considered her to be like a romantic prospect or even someone that I wanted to work for a long period of time. I just considered her a very cordial part of the place here in general from a distance.
And my daughter.
He's still screenshotting.
My daughter. It's very upsetting.
You see the stalker screenshotting when I'm
still, there's something about this guy. They can't stand to have her CNS. They can't stand to have her criticized. They ask her to do a lot of crazy things. So that the security camera in my apartment would pick up details on the balcony and stuff.
She was bribing me, in other words.
And she also was responsible for trying to do that insurance scam where she stopped short in front of me and made me run into her. Not in the car, in person.
Thank God.
It was very odd. And I think she might, which is the same thing that another teacher's husband did to me. I remember I left teaching in 2005.
And another teacher's husband did that to me, or a lover, when in 2012, when it was my last Christmas with my daughters, on Christmas Eve, tried to make me hit their car.
They're trying to pull something similar at the rental car company. Although that was sort of an interesting experience.
I'm just kind of disentangling everything.
In which she might have been very nice to me, but also trying to get money. I moved my security camera since then, so it doesn't show as much as the outside. Because that's not the point. The point is, I do like the goth thing, and I understand about the whole heroin thing, but I'm not trying to sell it to anyone. That was just a joke, an inside joke between me and another guy, and I really liked it, and I don't like him co-opting it for his crazy purposes. He can go somewhere else, live somewhere else, and do other things, but I'm limited by income to living here. So it's not really fair for my AIDS family to sort of glom onto me in some sort of way, because I don't have anything to do with them. I don't want anything to do with them. The last thing I had to do with her professionally was me handing her an evaluation and saying, I have written this for you. Read it and tell me what you think, and I'll correct it if you think anything's egregiously wrong. So she read it, she gave me some corrections, and I fixed the evaluation. This is my evaluation of her as her supervisor. And then I turned it in. And she was, hey, I'm going to play your video I recorded earlier. Oh. And now I don't know what to do. One second, let me see if I can find out where this is. I'll get into that another day. But anyway, she was reassigned after that. And then later promoted after a fair amount of time. So, I mean, they had a high opinion of both of us. Nobody was considered disgruntled at the time in that situation. But she glommed on to me and never stopped following me around. Very strange. And made no secret of it either. Very strange. I was not her partner in selling anything. And I was willing to partner up with other people to do things. And I don't know what the heck was wrong with her in thinking that she needed to co-opt me. Because it was like she thought I was working for her for some reason. And I certainly was not in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. And all of his patients could call into question his practice just because of this. Seriously. As me. He's trying to pretend to be. I go here. Isn't that weird? And don't forget she's connected with my mom's friend that lives in Universal City, Texas, and who has sort of had a love-hate relationship with me that's kind of irrational ever since I met her, but I do love her still. I hope you'll tell me if any of this looks different. Still screenshotting. It is kind of. It's a nightmare, y'all. And I like them, but remember, she used to always go around talking about cuckoos, so. Now it doesn't say the number anymore. It doesn't say the number anymore. There it is. She used to always say cuckoos, cuckoos whenever I would enter the room. And I want you to know that it wasn't me. Like, I was not acting childishly. But she started acting very immaturely around me. And so I don't want to sound like I'm answering back now, like that I'm acting like a 5-year-old now, because I'm not. I'm just trying to explain to you the situation. And the memory of it is bringing up sort of a feeling of not frustration, but just sort of like, you know, the district treats teachers like adults, and they should treat teachers like adults. But when teachers get mired in these kinds of situations that are the cause of bad staff arranging, then that is sort of the district's responsibility. And when I leave,
And I go about my life as a private citizen with children in that district, as she also had children in the district. And I wasn't paying any attention to them whatsoever. But they kept harassing me and my children. One time I had to pay a car payment, and I sold some purses, some Gucci purses, on the bulletin board, and she bought them because she had been eyeing them for a while. She bought them and turned around and sold them for like 3 times as much as I sold them for. And I did not know about that, but the whole district did. And they made this whole campaign at my school to keep people from actually like accosting her, that said like, don't drink the haterade and stuff like that, because she was acting in a racist way towards me. And so they hate her aid, right, is what I thought it meant. But they were saying hater aid, like that she was a hater of people. And because everybody was so upset with her for doing that, which is so weird that I would cause such consternation. But people genuinely know that I'm a genuine, nice person. And that she, for some reason, had taken, and remember she tried to break my kid's finger. She took an irrational dislike to me. Over the top dislike. And that seems to have fueled a lot of these things. And this guy is lying in wait for me here. Literally lying in wait for me. Trying to anticipate what I do. Yesterday he left like I was going to the bank. And he came back when he realized I wasn't going to the bank. Which is really creepy. Because I don't want to be, I have to go to the mailbox. I have to go to the office. I don't want to be associated with him trying to coordinate his movements with my movements here at the place. And even though I've made sure that people know that he's a known factor, they don't seem to want to help with this part of it, because I guess it's a busy time of year for the police, certainly. And I'm very worried, y'all. But I'm not meaning to excoriate her. I just have to protect myself and my children. And she brought me this problem. But other people have also brought me this problem, and I'm not really sure where this guy's irrational attention to me is coming from.
So he was logged onto my thing, but somehow he's named the same thing as something on my device. So I don't want to have named this. Now, here's the thing. He's trying to contact my subscribees. And maybe he got drummed out of medical practice and he's just sort of rocking around doing things on the side. I don't know.
He's disgruntled at me for some reason.
But he's trying to contact them on Reddit as me. He's trying to pretend to be me. And he probably was wandering around my apartment when I was being forced to live next with my AIDS brother
in his house,
unbeknownst to me. He was probably running around in my stuff then too. It's very upsetting. He could be one of my stalkers. Or one of my followers. I don't think he is, but I mean he could be. But the point is, let me explain to you better in this video.
But anyway, I owe a debt to my subscribees that I can't repay because they made him unmask because he wanted to impress them, including Snowman.
It's very upsetting. But still, there's something about these guys. They can't stand to have her CNS. They can't stand to have her criticized, but they ask her to do a lot of crazy things. And one of the things they're asking her to do is drive her in the parking lot and turn on the security lights at the bank so that the security camera in my apartment wouldn't pick up details on the balconies and stuff.
And she could be a doctor or nurse herself. and have a perfectly good income stream on her own of some sort. But she doesn't need to be harassing. And she should be free to do what she wants to do. It could have to do with the district that I came from. Disgruntled people from that district, even a couple board members. Yeah. Very strange. Very upsetting. And I really don't know what to do about it. But there are board members that were present in closed sessions where these people express their grievances. And they're welcome to come up to Nacogdoches and look at me and verify that I am who I am and that these people are who they are. Because they may have been people present at these closed session board meetings. Hi y'all, this is Daisy Kate. If there were any kind of interactions that were conducted outside of board meetings also. I mean, I don't know. I just know it has to be somehow related to some sort of professional disgruntlement, because these guys are acting just the same as postal workers, and they have been for 20 years now. And we don't know what they're disgruntled about, because I was oblivious to most of it, although it has severely damaged me. And I've been running around, bopping around, enjoying my life. And I just wanted to say it to you because I want you to understand that this is the same thing as Falling Down, the movie. It's just I'm not Michael Douglas. I'm the guy behind the counter at McDonald's. And I don't mind being the guy behind the counter at McDonald's. I just want to know what on earth they're so upset about. Because I bet you it has nothing to do with me. It's very strange. So I'm going to play you a video I just recorded. Hold on. Norbert starts acting up here in a minute. This is Daisy Cake, so I'm going to play you a video. Here, I just want to show you something. Watch how much he's screenshotting to try to disturb the video. This is really new behavior and very odd, y'all. I don't know why he's doing this. It may be a new person, because they may have turned it over to someone else. This may be why the nurse showed up or whatever. They may have turned it over to someone else to do so they could have a holiday. But this is brand new behavior, y'all. And it's really strange. So if you have, I mean, I don't think it's that bad, but just to say, if you have epilepsy or something, you may not want to watch these next few minutes because the behavior is so bizarre. I don't know what he's doing except for trying to provide visual pollution, which I'm doing a fair job of on my own. So hold on one second. Video I just recorded. Hold on. So watch the screenshotting. I was going to cut it out, but then I figured maybe you should see it yourself. I just want to show you here, when I go to add a thumbnail to my, you see it? When I go to change my thumbnail onto it, I click on this. I think he's trying to get a copy of this thumbnail. So I did realize some things. The guy is nose on my feed. So that's why the goth looks like God H. So this guy is obviously trying to keep kids from watching Kids Don't Watch. I'll blur it out. And he wants, I might blur it out. I don't know. Maybe I'll just put this video not for kids. But he wants to keep kids from watching my videos. He wants to make watching my videos unpleasant for you. And I'm sorry to Cheap Lazy Vegan that she's at all associated with this, or Ken's 5, or Kaylee June, or Dan Coe, or any of those people. Not that I watch anybody but Cheap Lazy Vegan. She's the only person that I watch regularly on this particular roster of people. And that's why the 8s are for oxycodone. So, y'all, please don't do business with him, even if you're trying to figure out what's going on, alright? Okay, so listen to the words that I'm saying. because they're important. And I'm going to let you see this, even though I'm just going to change it. I was trying to make it okay for kids, but this guy just is being an ass. So let's see. 15-year-olds know about pain pills, y'all.
So I did realize some things. The guy is a doctor type person, and
One of them.
he wants to sell you pain pills on my fee. So that's why the goth looks like God H, and that's why the 8s are for oxycodone. So y'all, please don't do business with him.
I know a lot of my followers might be trying to do business with this guy to try to figure out what the hell's going on. So I'm just saying, I would prefer that you not do business with him, but be cautious, y'all. I don't know him well enough to deny you access to him in any way, kind of verbal form. It's not like C and S and M that were doing a organized campaign of harassment against me that was vicious and lasted many, many years. Okay, this guy also may be like that, but I don't want to antagonize someone in that kind of position because I do have children and grandchildren. So do you. So please just be cautious, y'all.
This is a tablet. So I see here. Sorry, I know my dog is here. I think the dog pen. Here, this one. I do like to lazy to get up. It's tall and fast. It's so bad. I think so many kids.
Okay, watch all the screenshotting is all I was showing this for because we're reaching the end of this video here.
And
I have
that's
to
not
show
one
you
of the reasons that he's not really tall. He wears my heels. Heels that he duplicated from my Amazon orders to look like.
He's 5'9" or so.
He may be going for some kind of malpractice insurance or medical disability or insurance disability as a doctor.
I really can't speculate on that. I just know his behavior is unusually odd.
And there may be a big billboard with his picture on it right by Dollar General, actually. It's very interesting. Anyways. And he may be responsible for some of my coding. This is what it's supposed to look like on Android. This is not a phone. This is a tablet. Are any of the ones that have date-only titles? That's probably kind of one of the reasons I have to up to.
He's attacking me abusively through putting that video on my home screen. And he's attacking you because he wants you to go away and not watch my videos. He's trying to punish you because that woman that's in love with my ex-husband wants people to shun me for nothing. And it's really crazy.
Walmart deliveries, which is sad.
And they're still thieving with the Walmart deliveries. Okay, so you can see here, if you pause it, that not on this page, but I do thank y'all very much because I can't repay my debt to you. But I will always try for sure, just by watching your videos and liking them and subscribing. Okay, so I'm going to start here. So it's a cluster right now. And I'm not even going to edit it probably. I'm going to start here because I figured out the whole, I don't know what thieves tall and fast have to do with anything. The way they keep flashing that on the screen makes me always want to run and check all my stuff. But people are just being crazy for some reason.
If you see any duplicates, let me know. Are any of the ones that have date-only titles? That was kind of one of the reasons I stopped doing up to. But it's still going on as far as Walmart goes. Robert's here. Walmart deliveries, which is sad. He's telling John, so I say, edit. This is supposed to be the window thumbnail. So see the 8? That's probably oxycodone. You can tell that the thief changed it. Because you can like, see, I don't have access to my photos out from here. I'm supposed to have access to that. So if I see images. And that's supposed to be overtime. It just shows screenshots, but not camera.
Or something else. I don't know. Listen to me and I vocabulary so right. So right.
That guy's device. And I don't know what that means. So it could be a storage device permanently attached to my device. But it's kind of it's not the name of my tablet. Like if you look here, it's really frustrating. I remember more than one thing can happen to you. And I know that that other one's not my tablet because it keeps signing me out, and I'm not signing myself out of anything at all when I do that. I'm not signing myself out of Chrome, I'm not signing myself out of an app, I'm not signing myself out of the device. Nothing changes my change password for me, just for the other person. But I wonder if it's like an intermediate drive. So if it's attached to my YouTube or something, and it's just a drive on my device. And don't forget, all this started with a doctor from New Braunfels. So let me log out of my. Let me change your password real quick. Who's been obsessed with my ex-husband ever since 1986 or so. Even 85.
And now this stuff, oh my gosh. Y'all, the stalker is trying to show you my email. I don't know why he's doing this. It's really weird. But I'm trying to change my password, so it's like click, 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 click for me. But he's trying to draw out each click. This is the weirdest thing ever. Anyway, you can see my email.
Disney World, I mean.
Oh my god, I would love to have an Amazon business page. Can you imagine? I would die of happiness. I hope I die of happiness at this point.
What is going on with his house, guys? He was on it yesterday. But it didn't ever show him on it yesterday. Isn't that crazy? Just because I went to sleep. What do you think is wrong with this guy? I cannot catch him syncing my account and get him on me there at the same time. I'm gonna block him. Okay, so I just changed my password. Let's see. But isn't that crazy? So does that mean I cannot get him on? That's why he did it. He tries to add in extra videos. He does all the thumbnails and pretends like he's the reason. And he wants you to think he's undercover, but he's not.
And watch this, y'all, because it only says that there's only one session.
And undercover officers get fired too. Right now he's harassing someone, and that's not okay.
They have an SOP, I guess, of some sort. It's a liberal one, though.
He's mentally ill. He wants to get medical malpractice, disability, probably. I mean, he's a doctor. Police and all of his patients could call in and question his practice just because of this.
He could be a nurse.
If he's a doctor. He's certainly related to a doctor. He's the twin of a doctor.
The weird thing is, another parent that's offended with me is also a surgery tech at a Kyle hospital. A plastic surgery tech. And not only that, but he is related, closely connected, as is a couple school board members. And, well, I mean, I don't have any truck with the school board, but I'll go into that another day. But there's a lot of people connected back to this doctor from New Braunfels. And I don't know what her problem is with me. It's very strange. It's kind of tragic in a way. Because the only thing that's different about our lives is that, I mean, I could be disgruntled with her, I guess, but I'm not at all. It's a funny thing because I like my life so much. But she blames me for something that I don't know about. I know that she blames me for her husband. I mean, for my husband. I don't even know. She blames me because my ex-husband met me when she, because irrational people, they always think they know what the person they're obsessed with is doing when they're not around. Like, I don't ever assume that about anybody. Even before I got in the program, I just wasn't like that. But she is a very controlling person, and she assumed that she knew. She assumed that she absolutely knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he loved her as much as she loved him. So when I showed up, it kind of destroyed her a little bit, I guess. In 1988, y'all, 1988, and she's never really gotten over it. Trying to control, manipulate, blackmail, extort, and they have kind of like a love-hate relationship with each other. They're kind of sadomasochistic with each other, and it continues to this day. But I don't have anything to do with it. But I've been gravely affected by it this whole time, and part of it is she cannot stop interfering with my profession. I don't have anything to do with her profession. I never felt like she was that happy. So I never really wanted to be her. But she's never stopped trying to find reasons to hate me. And the only thing that I can think it could be, which is crazy, is that her kids went out to eat with us. She let me watch her kids for a day. They played with my kids. And in that same place where I showed you the picture of my daughter. And she my mom and I bought them an ice cream cone to eat afterwards. She hadn't told me about any food allergies, and my daughter hadn't manifested her own yet because we didn't have peanuts in our house for some odd reason. I mean, they just never had peanuts until they were in kindergarten. So, or they were never exposed to peanuts until they were in kindergarten. It was kind of a fluky thing because I have an immune deficiency myself. And so I was always very protective of my kids, even though we were very social all the time, just not around food is the thing. So, and she didn't inform me of any allergies. So we went to McDonald's and I got them ice cream cones after the Children's Museum. And they really enjoyed them. And there's pictures of them eating them and everything. And I think she's kind of, her sons both have special needs. Variety of special needs. They're affected, y'all. And she's always hated me because of that. Most of these people that hate me because my life turned out normative, neurotypical, the way your life did, probably, the way many people's lives and kids do. And it had nothing to do with anyone else. In fact, it was against great odds that I surmounted to turn out these children that were acting this way. And their lives didn't turn out that way. But it still had nothing to do with me. And I hope it's not due to this ice cream cone because that would be crazy. But I just kept thinking about this mystery that I read, the Lady of Shalott and all. And how odd people can be about assigning their pain makes them assign weird blame to people. And I'm not trying to do that. So I'm really trying just to lay out the facts for you. But anyway, you can see that this guy just signed out a minute ago on my device again. And it probably is this sort of drive that's like attached to me like a bot. But it is actually his phone, which is a whole thing in itself. So anyway, continue watching.
which is a nightmare.
But remember, I don't need to be surveilled so that someone is protecting me. That stops at my front door. This guy, though, may need some added surveillance. I don't know. He seems to be able to go, like last night yesterday he left 5 minutes before I was going to leave from the bank. And he came back as soon as I decided I wasn't going to go. And that means crossing in front of my apartment, going down the stairs, going to his car, getting in his car, driving, waiting for me, coming back, parking, coming back up the stairs, crossing back in front of my apartment, which is crazy. So someone somewhere is dropping the ball.
And there he is. So now, if I go here.
Sorry, I had some adult words to say.
Sweet boy.
See, and now that's gone. Because he was trying to keep, he probably likes that, and he was trying to keep kids from watching.
I go here.
Which I don't.
This is why I cannot repay the debt tonight.
I don't watch unsafe videos for children for this reason, because they show up on my history all the time. I did not. And I'm not into true crime, y'all, so this watch later list wasn't mine. I'll watch this Jacob William Faber video, though. I'm sure he's a fine person. Watch this.
Subscribees, which I'll explain in a second on the video. I go here. Isn't that weird? I hope you'll tell me if any of this looks different. There, see? Now it doesn't say the number anymore. It doesn't say the number anymore. There it is. So he was logged onto my thing, but somehow he's named the same thing as something on my device I don't want to have named this. Now, here's the thing. He's trying to contact my subscribees. And maybe he got drummed out of medical practice and he's just sort of rocketing around doing things on the side. I don't know. But he's trying to contact them on Reddit as me.
Quite a few people that don't like me are former pharmacists or doctors who don't practice at this time. I don't know why they don't practice at this time, but that's true. As far as like the people that, it's like concentric circles of people that don't like me. So there's people I actually know that don't like me. And then on the outside circles, there's people that know those people that don't like me. And a lot of those people are somehow involved in the whole former medical field, even though a lot of the things are said about me are obviously not true and patented deep fakes and things like that, even x-rays and stuff. It's very upsetting. And they've terrified my children to the point where they won't talk to me because they're afraid of backlash from all of this, which I understand. But they don't want y'all to listen to me either, which is interesting. And they came up and attacked me because I was going to put my true self out there. And I'm not imitatable, mimicable by anyone. I mean, pastiche, sure. But in serious, you can't really duplicate me. It's not that I have like delusions of grandeur. I've just actually really been a really kind of interesting person. I've strived to do a lot of different things. And I'm sure they have too. But the sad thing is their lives got derailed by this irrational hatred. And now, eventually they might actually be impacted by it, which is sad. because I haven't really done anything to them. They're just trying to make it seem like cumulatively over time I have, but I haven't. It's very odd.
He's trying to pretend.
This is what I mean by understanding how celebrities think about things, because all of this attention could be put on any of you at some point. Caitlyn Jenner has engendered this kind of feeling in people. And I'm not transgender. But you see how their lives have unrolled because of this attention that they get. And you see that it's kind of undeserved or over the top, but it results in some very real anger from other people, even though it probably was a setup the whole time. So just keep it in mind that not everything is what it seems. And someone is irrationally angry about something and has money and is nonverbal and is violent. So can we all try to help me figure out who that is? Because I might be being nice to that person, or overly nice to them when I speak of them, or overly nice to them in conversation. Or they could walk up to my kid's door and knock on it. We don't know.
And he probably was wandering around my, he probably was wandering.
I say my apartment, but I don't mean my apartment. I mean the room that I was renting from my AIDS relative.
Around my apartment when I was being forced to live next with my AIDS brother, unbeknownst to me. He was probably running around in my stuff then too. It's very upsetting. He could be one of my stalkers or one of my followers. I don't think he is, but I mean, he could be. But the point is, I mean,
there's two guys that live downstairs. One is a bald man who is which enables him to wear wigs and things. And he's olive skinned. He sort of looks a little like my mother in kind of a weird way. But he's sort of, I mean, younger. But he's fairly nice looking. He's kind of OCD. He dresses himself nicely, both as a man and sometimes as a woman. And he is he's taller than me. I guess he's 5'11", maybe a little shorter. And he is fit. He is like adept at things. So he seems like he could be in some sort of important capacity. And he's involved in this too. Possibly. But he shows up in my window and my videos a lot. Although that's kind of stopped now because for the holidays he has something else to do. He always goes away and comes back. Which I'm used to because, like I said, I like people from Mexico. And people from Mexico are similar to communists. Communists always go back. If you ever wonder if someone's a communist, just watch what they do, because eventually they have to go back and make contact with China, with Eastern Europe, with Russia, with sometimes Mexico, some South American countries like Argentina, different places, because I don't know why that is, but I have just noticed that pattern over time. Many, because I like communists too. I'm not at all a communist myself, but many people that feel that way, because it's it sort of goes along with the pot thing, because communists are farmers. It's an agrarian society, and it's very interesting to see that pattern. But anyway, the point is that similar to that, people who are from a true Mexican culture have a great attachment to the people that live there, and they will return there for weeks at a time sometimes and come back. or they go to where their family is for weeks at a time and come back. And because I've just sort of taken that for granted, that whole pattern of behavior ever since I was little, because I've always gravitated towards the Spanish language and towards Spanish people. Although it's not really my romantic demographic, but it is sort of my interest. And so I've noticed that this guy also sort of goes away and comes back, even though I didn't really take note of it at the time. As does a lot of these other people that I mentioned, or as do, I guess. But that's because I just noticed things. So I'm not saying I paid attention. It's just in the back of my brain somehow I registered that he would go away and come back and go away and come back and go away and come back. Which is why I don't like these people that don't like me living so close to me, because they're registering things about me that are kind of unfair, because most of what I'm doing is trying to repel people from entering my apartment and taking my things. And since most of them have OCD, the only way to really do that is to try to make it unpleasant for them. But now it's getting unpleasant for me, so I'm changing that behavior. But let's see.
Science better in this video. And he could have been leaving yesterday because he knew I was going to the bank. And he came right back when he realized I wasn't, which is illegal. And if he kills me, eventually, or my children,
Any of these people,
or their children, then you should remember that he did it tracking me, and that it's a capital crime. Because to me, this is a really big deal. I know this is the kids. I just wanted to know I did that here, and not just videos. And that she's kind of...
Okay, so you see here that there's 2 duplicate videos on the bottom here. And so that shows you that like I'll explain, sometimes my videos show that I have the same number of videos, but it's because he's added them or deleted them. I don't know why he does that.
And behold,
Come here. No claws. Nice touches.
and then
Nice
there's
touches.
C, who's also
C.
tracking me and stalking me and interfering with my business and my life and oppressing me and relegating me to a human drudge or slave. And that is also not...
Because these people co-opt me. Because what they've done is they've decided that I'm their drudge, and they can go up to people and say, she doesn't X, Y, or Z, but we do. To everyone I know. When I would prefer to do business with other people, as I explained.
Okay. So let's not excuse him just because he moved, because something seriously is wrong with these 2 families, where almost every member of the family has been involved in stalking me for some reason.
And remember, he put me in their way.
Very strange. Because they think I'm responsible for their professional difficulties, but I am not in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
I was just nearby when those difficulties happened. And face swapping on her body. It's really strange.
They're going to try to add in more noise pollution and sound interference. So you might want to turn down your headphones at this point a little bit.
That's that weird video that I had that was so long that he edited down because it showed Regina. He cannot stand to have anything bad ever said about him. And I don't know why. Because she's their accomplice in a lot of the things that they do. This is true. She was one of the big harassers of me. She was in my apartment all the time. And she used to dress like me. If I changed my hair, she would change her hair. She was kind of pretending to be me for something. And my daughter. Because she looks a lot like my daughter. It's very upsetting.
You see the stalker screenshotting
And so, there's something about this guy that can't stand to have her, TNS. They can't stand to have her criticized. They ask her to do a lot of crazy things.
Well, I I just hope that she gets free at some point.
The parking lot and turn on the security lights at the gate. So that the security camera in my apartment would pick up details on the balcony and stuff. And she also was responsible for trying to do that insurance scam where she stopped short in front of me and made me run into her, not in the car, in person. It was very odd. And I think she might,
Which is the same thing that another teacher's husband did to me. I remember I left teaching in 2005, and another teacher's husband did that to me, or a lover, when in 2012, when it was my last Christmas with my daughters, on Christmas Eve, tried to make me hit their car.
they're trying to pull something similar at the rental car company. Although that was sort of an interesting experience too, that I'll tell you about later, in which she might have been very nice to me, but also tried to get money. Which is weird, but I moved the security camera so it doesn't show as much as the outside. Because that's not the point. The point is, I do like the goth thing, and I understand about the whole heroin thing, but I'm not trying to sell it to anyone. That was just a joke, an inside joke between me and another guy.
Respectful of
And
the
I really
community.
liked it. And I don't like him co-opting it for his crazy purposes. He can go somewhere else, live somewhere else, and do other things, but I'm limited by income to live here. So it's not really fair for my AIDS family to sort of glom onto me in some sort of way, because I don't have anything to do with them. I don't want anything to do with them. The last thing I had to do with her.
And I didn't have any bad feelings at all until there was a really hot day here in Nacogdoches, and I walked in to Taco Bell to get a drink, and she was sitting there. And then they followed me back to my apartment and came in my apartment later and left a laptop for me that I didn't want necessarily. And I just thought, this is it. That's it. I mean, that's just, it's so weird. And that was 2018. And they have not, and that family, their portion of this has not stopped, which is sad. Which means that moving out of that guy's house did not stop them. And I left them, well, that's a long story, but I left them a lot of my things. Not items, but furniture. I left them 2 expensive pieces of furniture, wholeheartedly, and an expensive mattress. Wholeheartedly without problem, because I needed to move quickly and because they were harassing me. And it was like they wanted me to move in order to harass me. And when I moved up here, it was the same thing, but from the same people, which is so crazy. And that shouldn't happen to you if you're a teacher. It's just bizarre.
Professionally was me handing her an evaluation and saying, I have written this for you. Read it and tell me what you think, and I'll correct it if you think anything's egregiously wrong.
And it was a
So she read
positive
it,
one.
and she gave me some corrections, and I fixed the evaluation. This is my evaluation of her as her supervisor. And then I turned it in. And she was, Kyle, I'm going to play your video I recorded earlier. Isn't that weird? And then it cuts off. And now I don't know what to do. 1 second. Let me see if I can find out where this is. I'll get into that another day. But anyway, she was reassigned after that. And then later promoted after a fair amount of time. So, I mean, they had a high opinion of both of us. Nobody was considered disgruntled at the time in that situation. But she
was.
glommed onto me and never stopped following me around. Very strange. And made no secret of it either. Very strange. I was not her partner in selling anything.
And I was willing to partner up with other people to do things. And I don't know what the heck was wrong with her in thinking that she needed to co-opt me. Because it was like she thought I was working for her for some reason. And I certainly was not in any way, shape, or form. Let's see. The stalker's fluffing.
And all of his patients could call into question his practice just because of this.
Seriously.
As me. He's trying to pretend to be. I go here.
And I'm really not intending to go to war against a bunch of bad doctors. It's crazy.
And don't forget she's connected with my mom's friend that lives in Universal City, Texas, and who has sort of had a love-hate relationship with me that's kind of irrational ever since I met her, but I do love her still.
I met her when I was 4.
I hope you'll tell me if any of this looks different. It is kind of. It's a nightmare, y'all. And I like them, but remember, she used to always go around talking about cuckoos, so. Now it doesn't say the number anymore.
Because my thing says it's like a flea circus moved in. But it is, y'all, because I keep getting my apartment trashed and infected with roaches and all these things. And that's not safe for me to really be cleaning up, but I don't mind because I just do it in little sections. But it's still... That woman, ever since I met her, has told me every time I come in a room, she would say, cuckoos, cuckoos. And that, I had to look it up. And it means lice. But evidently it also means black people for some reason, which I don't understand. And she would tell me that black people don't get rid of their lice, that they just let them sit on their face and go away, by themselves. And it was just a nightmare. But I accept a certain amount of nuttiness from the people that I work with, probably more than I ought. And I didn't really think that much about it, although it severely upset me when I would go home in the afternoons. But I did handle the situation, and she was reassigned.
It doesn't say the number anymore. There it is. So he was logged onto my thing, but somehow he's named the same thing as something on my device. So I don't want to have named this. Now,
I think I've already played this for you. Let's see what this is. Oh, yeah. I've already played this for you. Okay. So let me go back. I'm sure I played it for you twice. But I was just thinking it through as I was listening to it, trying to understand things again myself as well. You can tell that he always cuts it off at this point. Now, remember my brother. Here, let me put my face in this. Not wearing any makeup again, but then that's just, how you get good skin. Okay. No makeup, Katie. But Daisy cakes. But and this is getting better. It'll be gone by tomorrow, probably. So, this is really strange, y'all. And, the thing is, I didn't really occupy myself with what went on in board meetings or anything like that, but I did notice that these people were after me and they wanted me to leave. Several students' families and several other people I worked with didn't want to work with someone that was part African American. And they didn't want my mom helping them with anything. And they were upset by the whole situation. And my mom was not an obnoxious person. My mom was very hurt by their treatment of her also. But I didn't have time to worry about that because I was a single parent trying to support my kids, okay? But I filed it all. So, remember what I told you. That these people, these racist people, were told that they would never have to work in that district next to a core teacher that was African American. And so when they saw my mom's face, they blanched, basically. Interesting choice of words, but they blanched. because they realized that there was more going on inside this person than their superficial nature had allowed them to assume. And that is when they went after me. Now, that doesn't mean that I knew, because I didn't know, but I did realize that they were not treating me well, and that some of them were being mean to my mother, who is a grandparent in the district and attended all of their events all the way through the 12 years that they lived in there, which was so lovely. And, people, it was an odd thing. I'm sure most people that are the victims of this kind of thing know that it's a mixture of people being nice and people being not nice. And you see the coding and malware change their face. But people being nice and people being not nice. And people trying to, the more I move my face, the less the malware can keep up. And the more you see the actual face, which is so funny. But the more people were compensating for it. And they did it because their ultimate goal was to be promoted. These people that were high racists, because they wanted to achieve a certain level in the district. So some of the people that you hear from about this over time will actually be some of those people. And that's just a function of working in the world with people. So it's interesting to look back and realize that some people do something about something so that they can say that they tried to do something about it. And they did. They tried. Some people really did try. But some people really let the situation down, because this should not be happening. And I don't know why it's happening right now. People think that because they have some experience or good recommendations or power or whatever, that they can't be held accountable for things. And I'm not trying to drag anyone into the light. I'm just talking gently about my experiences. These are not the worst experiences that I had with these people. They're just the result of whatever I'm observing on my device right now, which is so funny. And the parking lot and everything. Now, I don't mind living near people. I have coexisted with these people for many years, and I like it here. And the point is that they don't, I don't know why, but this AIDS family wants me to move. But if I move, they will move too. And if I get a new phone number, he's already started a return on my phone, on my Walmart account. Because when I get a delivery, he wants to know about it so that he can get a phone that's like my phone and clone it again. Which is sad, Joan, because I didn't start a return on my phone. But there's a return on my phone in progress right now. My actual phone that's in my bag. So Walmart's going to think ill of me, and I can't really do anything about that because there might be high racists at Walmart. These people have a way of finding common ground. They try to accuse me of hurting kids with special needs, which everybody would be upset by, which I have not done. They try to accuse me of doing all kinds of things that would enrage anyone, but it's just not true. And at the bottom of it is racism, possibly, or just irrational dislike of me and the way that my life has turned out, which I think is pretty good. And people are dealing with these people every day right now. It could be happening to some other teacher as well. Because it started with them going into my kid's backpack and getting my house key out of it. Y'all. Is the thing. Because my kids were latchkey kids when my mom would be watching them. And so they had all these glitter keys. I think I've talked about in another video. I'll link it below. But anyway, they had their keys in their backpacks for this woman to access and her friends. And it's really upsetting because I kept a very clean home when my kids were younger. I really did, because I didn't want to get sick myself. And so, and I also didn't like it, like when their feet would walk on the floor, I wanted their feet to be clean when they sat on the couches and stuff, and people looked at their bare feet. I wanted them to not show any dirt whatsoever, So my house was spotless. And things would go missing, and it's a long story, and there was more than them involved in that, but they did sort of try to inveigle, and they probably are doing that today. And not necessarily the same people, but hopefully bringing attention to that helps people, because I don't know if people really think about how many people have access to their house keys at school. And I just want to throw that in there and mention it, because it's kind of important, and it has a lot to do with the situation. That woman, the doctor from New Braunfels, had access to my house key as well, because when she was around my ex-husband, he had a house key to my house when we were married. And I don't think people really just think about that so much. But anyway, it's interesting. And here they seem to have access to my house with a smart box, which I don't even know if everybody has or not. But I certainly do. And maybe the doctor put them in and not the apartment complex. You shouldn't be able to pay for someone to have an upgrade on your apartment. But what they do is they hold back the money order that I pay, and they let the other guy pay my rent for a month. And then that enables him, in his eyes, to do crazy things, like come in, like take things. But that's not my intention. My intention was to pay for my rent with a money order, which I have done every month except for 1 month when they told me I'd been a good tenant. I didn't need to pay until the end of the month. And this month, where evidently they've done the same thing, which is very sweet of them. It makes January expensive, but that's okay. So just understand that that's what's happening right now, and that I don't do quid pro quos with people because of these people. I could have had a totally different relationship both at work and at home if it hadn't been for these families. But I don't think about things like that because I learned so much from dealing with every person that I come across. And because I always try to do the right thing in every situation, and being disgruntled isn't always the right thing to be. So anyway, thank you for watching. Let me see if there's any more I want to show you today. Okay, so here's the last little bit that you need to hear. And I'm going to publish this unedited and then edit it later, because I know I don't want it to sound like a diatribe against all these people, but I wanted to kind of lay out things I hadn't mentioned that I will do videos about later, because I know they're trying to censor, they're trying to hate, they're trying to report, they're trying to dislike. And a lot of people are also wondering why I haven't said something sooner, but I have been, and I can prove that to you as well. I think this one's mine. The police don't seem willing to fight this guy, which is sad. Because remember, I have storage, right? And when I got divorced, my items conveyed to me. My ex-husband was given 2 weeks to take half of his things, and he did. And the rest of it conveyed to me. All of it. And then he had his mom go in and out and steal things for him, which was odd. So then we got divorced again, 7 years later. And half of my stuff conveyed to me, right? I mean, all of my stuff conveyed to me because we had 2 separate houses. It was a no-fault divorce. And so all of my stuff was mine. So then he was outraged again because, again, this Texas dad thing that he does made him feel like he had done this campaign of alienation and it should have worked. And he didn't like the fact that I was going to achieve again. And so he tried to go in and take everything that he could. But I had already, handled my things. And I hadn't had a storage unit at that time. I wasn't trying to hide any items. He was well aware of all of the things that I had, and he didn't really want my stuff. But other people were enraged for him and started stealing from me, which is crazy. But they are nutty people. People I worked with, like I told you, at a Relay for Life fundraiser, took advantage of the fact that I was busy and went to my house and tried to clean out things that they thought I hadn't bought with my own money, which I most certainly had and had receipts to prove it. So then, so then I got storage, right? Well, they kept trying to get into inventory storage. I don't know what's wrong with these people, y'all. There must be 1,000 flea markets where they can buy the exact same things for themselves without stealing from me. But these guys insist that I support them. So it must be due to some disgruntlement. But I'm not aware of any professional problems on their part. So what could that be? This is what I would like to understand. Actually, I'd just like for them to go away. But if they won't go away, then I would like to investigate what on earth they've gone through that's caused them to blame me for their troubles. Especially starting with my brother and sister, but all the way up to anyone who's angry with me, these kinds of clods of people that try to attack me and take and appropriate things from me that are not theirs to appropriate. I don't know why they're so upset.
Look, see? I think this one's mine. Because, see, they only had access to that other thumbnail. What do you think is wrong with people?
Did you see that there's duplicate video there?
Something is wrong with these people.
Because, see, they've been working on my videos, so they wanted to upload the changes that they think should be made, which is not their point to do in any way, shape, or
His nurse
form.
or somebody is here visiting, and it's just a nightmare. Because this is how they trade my device back and forth with other people.
My aide's husband is always trying to put things on my device, and so is C.
See any other duplicates?
Look at the times also, because similar times can be similar videos, but not always. See? But that's actually 2 different videos.
These are actually 2 different videos. These 2. But they're the same length. So don't go by the length. But I just recognize if I had 2 videos saying the same thing before. So if y'all see any repetition, let me know. And they won't let me make shorts. That's the other thing. So, that's frustrating for me. A lot of my videos should be shorts.
That's why
But
the
they're
stalker
not, because
downloaded
they won't let
TikTok.
me make them. Very strange. C took away the functionality that says edit into a short when you're making your video and editing it on YouTube Studio in Chrome. He removes the button that says edit it into a short. Any other ones here? That's 2 different videos. That's crazy though. Here's one. Now, there could be two different ones. Yeah, okay, I just changed something. There could be two different ones because... And then there's this one. But they were hard stalking me for a while in the window. I'm looking. Here's one. I think those are two different videos.
You see how the Daisy Cakes Get Stalked video and the October 17th video are the same? So I'm just going to put that so I can go back and fix it.
Just to show that I did look at it. So it was the same. Y'all, this is crazy. I don't know why he would do that. And he took half the videos off the playlist. I noticed it yesterday because it's like something is odd about the beginning videos. There's just too many of them, which is strange. I don't know what's wrong with these people, honestly.
Not sure why it turns off there. Probably went to get a drink or something.
This guy has a professional job. He may be a doctor. It's very scary. But doctors aren't always sane, as I know already to my sadness. Let's see. Any other ones that you see that are duplicated by this guy? Like this one. That might be the same. I think I was trying to make a short on this one and not try to duplicate it so much. But still, it won't let me make a short at all. Let me show you that real quick. So here, well, I want to wait till you can see my face on that one. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I really appreciate y'all.